I'm Rob Shields, and this is Peace Talks, the podcast that covers everything to do with competitive jigsaw puzzling. Lauren Kautz has been, let's say, intense about jigsaw puzzling for as long as she can remember. Puzzling competitively since 2020, she's racked up state championships, national podium finishes, and alongside her team, affectionately called the Betches, a top 5 team placement at Worlds, making them one of the most formidable teams in puzzling. Lauren Kautz, thank you for joining Peace Talks.
Yes, thank you for having me, Rob.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm really excited about our conversation. But let's start as we always do at the beginning. What's your earliest puzzle memory?
So this one's actually kind of a comical memory. My first memory of doing puzzles was actually my first cuss word ever said.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to get that story.
Yes, that is my first ever memory. So I was like 5 and my sister was 2. And I was probably doing like a maybe 30, 50 piece puzzle, like definitely the cardboard kind. And my sister had like a 8-piece wooden puzzle. So not at all the same.
Uh-huh.
And she dumped hers into mine. And I yelled, "God damn it, Rachel." And my mom like turns in the kitchen chair and just death glares me. And I immediately start sobbing and crying because I was like, I'm in so much trouble. But so right away, I took puzzles very seriously.
Wow. Okay. So that's the first thing you remember?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Do you expect that you'd been doing puzzles for a while at that point?
I had to have been by 5. I mean, we had a bunch of like wooden puzzles, big piece puzzles, ones that kids do. It was just always in our house. And even when we moved houses, we went to a smaller house where a house was being built. So I was limited on puzzles. And I would do them upside down with just the cardboard side up. I was doing anything I could to get more puzzling in.
Wow. So you started off as a crazy person.
Yes. I've always been this crazy.
So is that the last time you swore at your sister?
Oh, no. But there might have been like a 10-year gap. But now that we're both like in our 20s and 30s, it's fine.
So you were doing puzzles from an early age, and also you were doing puzzles like you were looking for a variety of puzzles.
Yes.
Some people, like when they're very young, they don't know any better. They do the same puzzle over and over and over and over again. Did you do that as well?
Oh, yeah. And I had I think I noticed growing up, I had these Bratz puzzles, like the figurines, like Barbies.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 4 of them. And I realized they were the same cut. Even as a kid. So I would stack them on top of each other. So I'd have like a 4 puzzle sandwich because I would just match the cut up with the puzzle underneath it and and solve it that way.
Wow. So do you pay attention to cut these days? Like, do you know the cuts of various things or?
No, that's the funny part. I am like, there's a couple like Cobble Hills, like their random cut, or some of the puzzle twist puzzles, like some of those edge pieces that are really oddly shaped. I might remember that they're an edge piece, but outside of that, I'm not like Con or anything that has like a whole set memorized. Not a clue.
You peaked under 10?
Yeah, basically. I should have got in way earlier.
So you did a lot of puzzles. You were playing a lot with puzzles. Do you ever remember a time where you wanted to go fast with puzzles?
No, not until I was like in my late 20s. I was always going for like the harder puzzles, like the impossible puzzles, or all the one color puzzles, or the bigger puzzles, like 9,000 piece puzzles. It was never about speed until much later.
I know on your extensively populated YouTube channel that.
How did you find that? That's so old. Oh my God.
I mean, but you're doing like clear puzzles and things like that.
Yeah, that might have been before I ever competed, or maybe right after my first competition. And I was like, okay, yeah, this would be cool to put on YouTube. But yeah, I did one of those clear ones, and it took me like 4 hours for 144 piece, but I did it.
Yeah, I love the tenacity. Just making it happen. So again, that's another thread that just goes back with you for a long time. So you were really into challenging yourself on the difficulty level.
Yeah, always.
And are you that way with other things in life, or is this a puzzle specific thing?
I mean, so I'm a teacher, and I've gone back and gotten my master's degree. I've gone back and gotten my principal license. And so like, I think I've always just been the person that was like looking for the next challenge, always trying to improve, always something to keep my brain busy.
Is that the same as being competitive, or is that a different drive?
I think it's the same as speed puzzling because always in speed puzzling, mostly I'm competing against myself and my old times. Yes, of course, I want to place well or do well, but like I'm always trying to improve in my work life, and then I'm always trying to improve in my puzzle life. And so I think they're similar at least.
And so are you competitive in other things? Do you have other hobbies or sports that you have or do compete in?
Um,
You
no.
competing with people in your house just in on a
Yep.
daily basis?
Yep. Just trying to always be right. Competing. I love to read. So I always set a goal for myself each year. Last year it was 200 books and I met it by the end of the year. So like in that, yes, but I'm not like a sports athlete or anything like that. It the team makes me more nervous. Like I don't want to let people down.
That's interesting because a lot of people say the team is where they feel more relaxed.
I think my team right now, because we've puzzled together for 5 years, I'm more relaxed, but, like, if I were to join a new team, I think I would get nervous about, like, not meeting the expectation of what people have of me.
So tell us who your team is.
Okay, so my team is Sarah Schuler, Dawn Rasmussen, and Andrea Kyle. We're known as the We Put the Betch in You Betcha. A nice play on words for that one.
Casually known as the Betches.
The Betches, yep.
Yep. How did you guys get together?
So I had known of Sarah through Jonathan speedpuzzling.com. Because her and I were going kind of back and forth at the top for some of his competitions. So right away I was like, who is this girl that keeps beating me? And then she lives like 20 minutes from me. And I was like, I don't think I ever want to meet her. I was so angry that she kept winning. And then there was the in-person Mall of America competition, the Autism Society one. Andrea Kyle reached out to me and the two of us paired with Betsy and Robin. So we competed with them and we won that competition. And Andrea said she normally partners with Dawn. And so she was wondering if I'd be interested in a team and she was looking to get Sarah on the team. And I said, okay, I'll try.
Oh, interesting. I expected hell no.
No, I was looking for now like a team to really compete with because I got the thirst for it. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so we competed at Winter Carnival. I think it was 2022 or 2023 for the first time. And we won everything. And so I was like, okay, this is it. This is now the team. Never giving this up.
So your arch rival became your biggest asset.
Yes. And one of my closest friends now.
If I recall correctly, she tells the story basically in the same way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's super real. That's also real in my personal life. Like a lot of times people I'm like, oh, I don't know about them, end up being my like best friend later. I'm just not easily trusting.
You got to hate before you love, apparently.
Yeah, especially if you're better than me. And she was then. I had a goal. She was my goal.
Nice. All right. So let's circle way back. So how did you hear about competitive speed puzzling in the first place?
So this was during COVID. I was on Facebook as part of a wooden puzzling like group or something. Because they've always back to the like new puzzles challenging thing. Wooden puzzles really interested me because they have the whimsy cuts, all these different things. And I saw on there that there was going to be a wooden puzzle speed puzzling competition. And it happened to be one of the ones that Jonathan hosted. And so I was like, okay, well, I think I'm pretty fast. Like maybe let's try it. And I got second place on that first competition. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is something I could really do. And so then I looked at Jonathan's whole like groupie membership and chatted with my husband. I said, okay, is this something like you'd be okay? He's like, yeah, if you're into it, do it. I was like, okay. So then I did it. And then we've just gone down the rabbit hole of speed puzzling now.
I was going to say, you have a lot of times on the speedpuzzling.com board. I wonder if you could build like walls in your house now with little trophies that Jonathan gives out.
Well, like I know the viewers can't see it, but I have stacks sitting on my desk. It's like, and I put all my first places, then all my second places, all my first places is higher than the rest. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. And for the folks at home, how tall would you say that stack is?
It's probably about 8 inches tall, at least. I would guess probably about 30 trophies. But if you put the 2 stacks together, so the 2nd, 3rd, and 1st place, it's probably like a foot and a half tall.
Not to brag.
Not to brag, not to brag. But I gotta find somewhere to put them. I'm gonna have to dedicate a whole wall to these.
So your first competition was in, would you say 2020 or?
Yeah, I think it was April of 2020, around
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I show that the first time you got a first on record was, looks like about your 7th competition in 2021.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a sense of who you are and this, so it's possible that you might remember the first time you got a first place.
I don't remember the puzzle, funnily enough, but I remember my reaction. So I like finished, and then it says like, and I'm scrolling through the chat, making sure I'm like, I'm first, and I'm just screaming, running around my house, and I'm like, Chris, to my husband, I'm like, I did it, I got first, and he was like, and then so then he was celebrating with me. It was so, I was so happy.
So how into your puzzling experience is your husband?
Very.
It seems super supportive. And I've seen him.
Yes.
I've met him and chatted with him at least twice, I think.
He has not missed an in-person competition for me. He comes to everything when he's out there. Oftentimes he's like, you see that team winning over there? That's my wife. That's my wife right there. Like, so excited, so supported. We walk into puzzle stores and he'll be like, do you know this is the #1 puzzle in Minnesota? And I'm like, please stop. These random people.
You've got a hype man.
Yes, he's my hype man.
That is amazing.
Even after the recent competition, he's like, okay, I was watching you. I noticed you were like doing this and shaking. Like maybe we could practice that at home. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Wow. All right. Yeah. So at what point does the pressure from inside the house exceed the pressure from outside the house?
I know it's said with love. It'll never be met with pressure. Now, my pressure to him, he plays video games, and I'll always say, I'm not married to a loser, so you better win. So it's equal from both of us.
So you must have felt good on your first win because you beat Sarah.
Yes.
I mean, that was, as we've learned, was sort of a key goal. You beat her by about 2 minutes that competition. So that was built into the ecstasy and the running around the room. And at that point, 2021, you guys hadn't coalesced yet into a team.
No, we hadn't yet.
Do you recall about when your team came together as the Betches?
I think it was Winter Carnival 2022. So it would have been that upcoming year after I beat her.
Yeah, the first one that I saw you explicitly named, and the first time I saw the Betches was Winter Carnival 23.
Yeah, I don't I'm trying to remember. It might have been a whole other year later, or we might have just puzzled under something different, because it took us a while to come up with that name, and then once we had it, it stuck. We are never changing it.
Yeah, and the carnival records that are available online prior to 2023 just have the like sort of team captain and then nothing else, and so it's sort of hard to tell what's going on there.
Yeah.
Had you done much in person by then? You've done some in person by the time Winter Carnival 2023 rolled around.
Yes. I think, though, it had only been the Autism Society one and the Winter Carnival previously. I think those are my only 2 in-person ones. So I had never done individual in person until San Diego, I think, was my first. If I remember right. See, it all blurs together now.
No, 100%, and it honestly does not get better. The notes that I have say that there was a Minnesota State Championship in 2023.
Oh, yes. That was the one with the Dorothy puzzle and I won that one too.
Well, so here's the thing is that the Minnesota State Championships, was that in person? Because I know that these are often in person, but I didn't like, okay. So it was, at least you did, this was in July of 2023. So this would have been after Winter Carnival, but potentially one of your earlier solo rounds. And the thing I enjoy about the Minnesota State Championships for you is that in 2023, you were first and you beat Sarah. Sarah was second. In 2024, you were first and you beat Dawn, your other teammate, Dawn Rasmussen. Colleen Dunn was sort of in the middle there, but Colleen was from Ohio, so technically doesn't count there. And then 2025, you beat Andrea
Yep.
Kyle. So, first of all, you are the reigning 3-time Minnesota State champion. And also, you took down one of your teammates, a different one,
Yeah.
every time.
Oh, yeah. And we've done, when we do pairs, when Sarah and I do pairs against Dawn and Andrea, if ever there's a team that we root for to like sometimes beat us, it would be the other half of the Betches. Like, I do, like, if one of them beat me, I'm way less mad than if other people beat me. So,
But not mad is what I'm hearing.
oh, well, I mean, of course I want to be first, but yeah, but I'm still happy for them.
One of the things that I also enjoy is that there seemed to be a time where you guys were sort of figuring out the team, figuring out who was paired with who, because like in speedpuzzling.com, there was like every combination of the four of you was a pair at some point.
Yep.
And especially during the early phase of 2023, you guys seemed unstoppable. Like if you look at the stats for the first half of 2023, especially on speedpuzzling.com, it is the four of you anytime you enter as 1, 2, 3, 4 in some combination.
We felt unstoppable at that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that brought the San Diego second place team was probably one of the most heartbreaking all four of us have ever felt, because we had not lost. We hadn't lost any. I hadn't lost anything yet. It was any in-person competition. I was first until nationals.
Tell me a little bit about nationals. So the first nationals, did that feel any different than a lot of the other competitions that you'd been to?
I was so scared. I was so nervous. Yes.
Do you normally get nervous before a competition?
Online, no, because I'm just in my house. Like I mean, I feel a little more nervous when it's live than if I'm like recording it offline. But it was not, and then the in-person Minnesota one, there wasn't a large turnout for that one in July because a lot of people in Minnesota go everywhere but where they're living in the summer because it's a couple months of warm. But I was so scared for nationals. I think I was shaking during every prelim, just so bad.
And that was just nerves that you were going to not represent well? Like what gets in your own head that makes you nervous?
I mean, nervous that I'm not going to represent well, nervous that there's these people that I've never met that are probably better than me that have been doing this for a long time. And I'm just there trying to put pieces together. And I'm like, please, I know I'm fast. I know I'm fast. Please just let me win.
So did you know, because this would have been the second U.S. National, so you didn't go to the first one in 2022. Did you know of any of the players who weren't on your team or at least not Minnesotan?
I didn't know any of them personally. I might have recognized a couple names from speedpuzzling.com. Maybe like Mari and
Mari Black.
Yeah, Mari Black. And I don't even know who else. Honestly, at that point in speed puzzling, and Yvonne. I recognize Yvonne's name.
Point.
Yep.
The prior winner.
Right. And so I knew those two names, but other than that, I didn't know anybody or know of anybody.
So you sort of didn't have a sense of what the competition would be like here.
Right. And that's what made me the most nervous. Like now at least I can say like, oh, I know these 10 people are going to be my strongest competition at the top. But unless somebody new comes up, because that happens often too. But then I didn't know.
You could be top here or middle. Like it's the national championship. Like theoretically, the best of the best are showing up here.
Right. And then each heat goes. And so I'm looking at the winners of previous heats and I'm trying to look at the puzzle thinking, could I have done that faster? Am I comparable to them? Because it's all different puzzles. So trying to like figure out where I was going to fall in my own head and not be like, well, I'm definitely getting first and then be very disappointed. And so I was like, okay, top 3 would feel good. Top 3 would feel really good.
So if I got the timing right, and I might not, you were in individuals heat A, which means that you would have been the very first competition to go, which means that all of the things that you're thinking about, you have no resolution on. You're like, I've never seen anybody do anything. I think Sarah was in that round as well. So you at least have, I want to beat that person.
Yeah.
You ended up third in that round behind Kathy Reuter and Sarah Schuler. What was your perspective on that now that you've got a little bit more information?
I think in my mind, after that, I said, okay, well, it's preliminaries. We're moving on. I hopefully got my initial nerves kind of out of the way. Like, now I know what to expect. And in my head, I was like, I know I can beat Sarah because I've beaten her before. And so I was like, okay, if that's even just my goal, that would be okay. Like, but and then getting to know Kathy Reuter and Jean was like, they are the sweetest, nicest people. And I was like, okay, well, even though we have like now we have this good banter and rivalry between them and Sarah and I, but like I couldn't even be mad because she's so nice. Like,
but you didn't know that at the time, or
I
did
know,
you
but
discover that pretty quickly?
she was like, "Oh my god, I haven't met you, but you did so great," and was like so nice to me. I was like, "Oh, okay, yay, you did too. Dang it, I wanted to be mad, but I couldn't."
So then you've got an idea now of how things are going. You get to actually see a few other heats play out.
Yep.
And then individual finals. So that was a Nathaniel Mortensen balloon puzzle. I don't know if you remember the details of this.
Yes, I remember saying on the interview with Val that I just really wanted a puzzle with Sky because I knew that I could do Sky pretty well compared to some other people. And then I opened it up and I was like, yes, it has Sky. I was so excited.
Now, to be fair, it's not a lot of Sky.
No, but it was still more than I think the other one I did. I mean, that was...
The other one was just food, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Sky.
Yeah, no.
So you ended up third in the overall finals.
Yep.
Behind Sarah again.
Yeah, no, I know. That was... I think that was just the cherry on top after kind of... Because did we do teams before that? I'm trying to think of the timing of it.
That's a great question.
I think we did. So I think we were... I thought individuals was last, but I was like, no, okay, this tracks. After we lost teams, I was like, yep, okay, we're just going to be kind of disappointed right now. It's okay.
Now, when you say you lost teams...
We got second place. I know. It's not losing, but to us, after having never lost, it felt like losing.
Yeah, so can we dig into that a little bit more? So as they say, second place is first loser.
Yep.
And so you guys are feeling that hardcore. So when you got into those puzzles, so there were two puzzles, 2,000-piece puzzles. I think it was the Busy Birdies and the Mandala stones. Do you remember how you guys went through those puzzles and sort of the emotional journey along the way?
Oh, the Busy Birdies is kind of all blurry. That one was so chaotic, and we did it first. Then I remember the mandala stones, and I was sitting there looking at the pieces thinking, have I ever put together a puzzle in my life? Like, how does any of this go together?
You like hard puzzles.
Yeah, when I can just sit and watch TV and do them. I did not want it with the pressure. And Dawn did kind of the middle of every mandala stone, and that's what ended up clicking it all together. I will to this day say Dawn carried us through that puzzle. I don't know how she saw it. I don't know how she did it, but she's the reason we even got second.
And so the middles of those stones, like, they're complicated for sure. But once those were in place, you guys were able to, like, there's a lot of gap filling and a lot of other components to that.
It was all blue too. It was all like the same. It was blue and orange. That was it. Yeah, but that's what, you're right. That's what we were able to do. We were kind of, I think that might have been the puzzle that convinced us to go with me on the edges from then on, because then other people are able to get the chunks done from the middle, and then I can see the gaps a lot easier.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about how your team is structured in terms of, it sounds like you guys have some responsibilities that have morphed over time. So maybe start with how you were originally structured and then talk a little bit about how this pivoted things.
We were originally structured with, I know Andrea was doing the edges, and then Sarah was doing a lot of the sorting, and then I would usually pick like a color or a chunk of the puzzle that I was going to take first, and same with Dawn. And the nice part about that with Dawn and I is we never pick the same part. So while I'm like a sky person, she's like the grass. And so we really complement each other in a team and in a pair, because we both like the opposite stuff. But Sarah and I tend to like the same things. So we kind of go kind of share responsibilities on some of that. But then with the mandala puzzle, we figured out that Andrea is actually one of the best sorters we have on our team.
Mm.
And so I switched to edges. Andrea would sort. Dawn still kept her role. And Sarah was like in charge of kind of orchestrating the chunks of pieces that were getting put together into the puzzle. And then her and I would start gap filling while Dawn and Andrea kind of finished the chunks they were working on. Or Sarah's our shot caller. If she knows my body language, and if I like am hesitating, she'll say, "Hey, here's this chunk, Lauren. Work on this. This is where this is this thing," and she'll just hand it to me when she knows I don't know what to do next. Because a lot of times you get out of the edges, and I'm like, "What is the rest of this puzzle?
No,
I haven't even
100%.
looked at it."
Yeah,
And
I have that problem all the time because like that is the edges is sort of where I play. And then the moment I am done with the edges, a lot of stuff has happened. And a lot of the things where if I glance at the box, I'm like, I could do that, have already been done, right? Because those are the things that everybody else pulls out as well. So
right.
how do you manage that transaction? You're just at that point, Sarah is sort of responsible, at least casually, for making sure that you've got a transition out sort of project.
Yep. Yeah, she normally has a stack ready for me. I know it was the 2025 Winter Carnival, I think was the hockey puzzle. And she specifically had the hockey word. She was like, okay, this word is for Lauren. We're leaving that. And I was like, oh, great. They always give me the hardest chunk after, but it's fine because it works. It obviously works for us, but.
Well, and again, you aside from, as you said, the pressure of the competition, you're not shy about complex, hard puzzle
right.
areas. So, you know.
And a lot of times with those wordings, like I can see the edge or the trajectory of the words easier than some of my other teammates. So that usually helps us.
As you were going through the finals in the 2024 Worlds teams, did you have a sense of how you were doing relative to the other teams?
In Worlds?
Sorry, Nationals.
Okay. We knew we were close. Like by the time when we finished the first puzzle, we knew we were already in second place. I believe we were either second or third at the end of the first puzzle. So we were like, okay, we need to
like heard the rollover from the other team.
Yep.
Okay.
Because at least like when you're in teams, nobody has headphones on, so you can hear everybody cheering as people flip and things like that. Or they, the whole crowd cheers when a group finishes a puzzle. So yeah, we kind of knew where we were and we were like, okay, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. But then we opened the mandala puzzle and we're like, how do we go faster? Like there is no faster. I just need to find two pieces that go together.
Did that cause some like heart dropping?
Yeah, for me it was. I was like, this is it. We're done. We're gonna be last. And they're like, we're fine. We're fine. Everybody has the same one. Everyone's thinking the same thing. It's like, okay, all right. But like you just start getting in your head because puzzling is just a mental sport. And so you're there like, I've been sitting here with these two pieces for like 2 minutes and now another team probably got 20 pieces in and you're just starting to like get in your head that way.
It can be challenging to remember that other people are struggling with the same thing.
Right.
It's extremely rare that a hard puzzle for one elite person like yourself is going to be easy for somebody else, right? Some other elite person. Like everybody's at the top of their game. Everybody's trying to eke out everything they can. And I can imagine it can be challenging to remember that the fact that you're going slow probably means other people are going slow too.
Yeah. But I mean, knowing we were second or third and that we had to pick it up, I think also just put a lot of pressure on us because we still, like I said, we still hadn't lost. So we were like, okay, I don't know if they have the split times or anything on there, but I swear we were like 5 or 6 minutes behind the first place team when they finished the first puzzle.
So the Peace Corps team ended up first in general, right? And that was Andrea Peng, Kelly Walter, Kelly Burr, and Becca Taylor. And they finished 5 minutes, 48 seconds ahead of you guys. So at the split, so with the finishing the Busy Birdies puzzle, they were ahead of you guys by 1 minute 47.
Okay. So we were closer than I thought we were.
You were real close, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we thought then that we could pull it out, but obviously we didn't.
I feel like I'm making you frustrated in retrospect.
It's okay. I cried. We all cried after, which like I don't think I've ever cried actually after a puzzle competition outside of that one. I think we had such high expectations of ourselves going in. And now we're like, okay, yeah, it's second, third, like we're still up there with the best of them, and that's okay. And we feel better about it now.
That was a moment for you guys where you'd been like this unstoppable force and you met an immovable object.
Yep.
Suddenly you guys were second.
I'm happy now. Like, that was one of the best we've done at like the national level and everything like that. But at the time, it was just heartbreaking.
One of the things I enjoy about watching you specifically is that at the end of any competition, I know how you feel about the puzzle. You're expressive.
Yeah.
It's not like you're dramatic, but like, you're really visibly happy or you're holding your head or something. And
Yeah.
so I can always get a read by looking at you.
I don't hide my feelings or my opinions while I'm wear it on my sleeve and tell people how it is kind of person. So if I thought it was a bad puzzle, you're going to know it right when you see my face. Or if I thought I did bad, you're going to know it if you see my face. Like,
Right.
those might look the same, but it's usually just my frustration coming out that like, oh, I thought I was going to do better. Or I thought this was hard or anything like that.
So you guys signed up to go to Worlds.
Yes.
The US Nationals was in March. Worlds would have been in probably
September.
September. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on Worlds versus the Nationals, especially you probably signed up for Worlds before Nationals happened, is my guess. So you probably had a perspective going into Nationals and maybe a different perspective coming out of Nationals.
Yeah. I mean, we still knew, like, we were all still pretty in our prime at that time and ready to, like, we were ready to go. Whether we also wanted a chance to redeem ourselves against that team if we could. And we knew at least some of them were going to Worlds. And so we were also just excited to see how our team would do against like the World Puzzlers, because Sarah, Dawn, and Andrea had all gone to Worlds previously, and I
Right.
hadn't. And so they were like, okay, like if all four of us can go and like we're all still like we're getting second at nationals, this is our chance to do the best we can at Worlds. And we got fourth. And
Well,
I'll take that.
I was gonna say against some of the elite of the elite, literally the
Yes.
world's best. Did fourth feel as punishing as second did at
No.
Nationals?
Fourth felt like we were riding high still. Like we were, because like you're against people from all over the world. And you're saying like we're one of the top 4 teams in the entire world, not just here. And we're all from Minnesota. And we've all like, it's just such a like fun to represent it on like a world platform that like we're all just friends from the same area that happen to all be fast at puzzles.
Going into Worlds, did you have the same kind of concern or fear that you did going into Nationals, or had things really evolved for you such that you were, because it feels like, at least in retrospect, you were much more chill about this whole thing. Was that true at the time?
I think I was way more chill about my pairs and my team for Worlds. I was still pretty hard on myself for individuals, because now like, okay, yeah, now I know all the people in my heat that I'm supposed to be scared of from the United States. But what about all these other people? And then people kept coming up to me from like around the world saying like, oh, Lauren, I know you from Karen's like videos and these things. And I was like, people in Finland know who I am.
You were famous.
I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I'm just sitting here trying to listen to my music and be ready to puzzle. And people are like, I know you. And I'm like, what?
So back us up and tell us about the video that made that happen.
So I think it was Karen's video from Nationals. It had to have been. And so she made a video kind of about each, like how Nationals went, how our team went. So she talked about all of us on there, showed videos of us puzzling. I think she was the one who coined the Betches, like right away, is the one who called us it, and that stuck. But so everyone kind of knew then with us coming to Worlds that we were going to be like a team to watch out for.
When you saw that video, first of all, I don't know where you guys were in sort of your exposure journey, like whether people knew about you a lot before that video, but it sounds like this was sort of the breakout moment.
I think this was the breakout moment, yeah.
And how did that feel? Like, were you excited or concerned you were suddenly outed for the world to see?
I mean, I was excited. It was, I mean, like you saw my very old YouTube videos. Like I wasn't opposed to being out there in the world. But I didn't have really a platform or a following to do it myself. So it was kind of cool that since Karen had it, that she kind of put us out there and And that now, you will see in the chats of the live streams for nationals or anything like that, like go Betches, like people that we know from competitions in the past or family or friends, or just people that have watched us at every nationals that now are rooting for us, which is just, it's fun. It's exciting. Like, I don't want to let the people down.
More pressure. Good.
Yeah, more pressure. It's all fine. It just rolls right off.
So did you have any sense then that going into Worlds, you said that like people from Finland knew you and that was sort of a mind-blowing experience. Had that been building, like, did you been running into people in the US that you didn't know who knew you, or is this a whole?
No, it
was all of a
just
sudden
at Worlds. Yes. Yeah. I mean, now in the puzzle community here, yes, I'm well known and like I work for Sarah Does Puzzles. And so like a lot of people know me that way. But like this was really because the other people who would know me from the US were people I met at nationals mostly. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, of course you know me. Like we met each other.
Yeah.
But now it's people I've never met that know me. And that was kind of wild.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you're now famous.
Yeah.
People are seeking you out. Autographs, I assume, throwing roses
no
at
autographs.
your feet.
No puzzle pieces, not roses. Come on.
Really? Because I'd be like, oh, you puzzle pieces on the floor. You have to pick those up. So then you were in Heat D. By then, maybe you'd run into a couple of people who knew you. Did that add to your overall feeling of going into your first heat?
I mean, I was extremely nervous for my first heat, and it doesn't help that we lost all of our luggage on the way to Spain. So we were like, and our flight was like, we were dealing with so much other factors that weren't even the puzzle competition. And I was like, okay, at that point, I was like, I just need to get in front of a puzzle and like do it for speed and like I was thankful that there were heats, like, because I knew that first round, I would have never like performed as well if that was like the only round. I needed that round as like a warm up. So, but I was definitely still nervous to see kind of how I fell in the world's platform.
So you were the second American to finish that round behind Kathy Reuter. This is starting to become a theme. But 17th overall. How did you feel about that?
I was okay with it. Like I knew I wanted to do better, or like that I could do better than I puzzled that round. But as long as it qualified me for the next round, I was pretty content with whatever I had gotten.
And then the semis, and I know I'm asking you about a lot of details you may not remember, but the semis then you were the second American again, but now placed up higher. Instead of 17th, you were 15th. It was a flower puzzle.
I loved that puzzle.
I wondered if this would be more your jam. Yeah,
it was. Even though, and I opened it and Chris saw it on the thing and he said, "This is her puzzle." Like he knew right away that I would be happy with that one. So I think that round was the round where my table mate knew me. And so that was like that was the one from Finland who was like, "Oh, hey, I've seen you on the videos. Like, I'm so excited to be sitting next to you." And I was like, okay, like me too. Nice to meet you.
Let's drill in just real quick. So this is a puzzle with a lot of different flowers. It's like a painting or some illustration. It's got a lot of things going on. I think you have said, or you and Sarah have said, that you're both sort of busy puzzle people. What speaks to you about a busy puzzle? Like, what is it about a puzzle like this that you're like, yes, this is my jam?
I think specifically for me, it's busy illustrations. The real photographs or things like that, portraits, like those are way harder for me, especially if grass is involved. But on this, I think like, because each flower had like its own color and its own like design on it. So really that was nice for me to kind of like sort out and do, because I always, on individuals, I always take my edges, shove them to the side, and then start putting together the middle. And so
I've been watching that, and it's like, I'm like, who is this? Like, literally the other day, I was watching some tape from last year's nationals, and I was seeing a bunch of other people do the normal thing of standing up the edge, and then they flip over to you, and you've got like this pile of puzzles all around you, and it's sort of like you built a nest, and you're working on one middle section right in the middle of all of these puzzles. And it was just so jarring in looking at how everybody else did things that I literally had to stop. I took a picture of it. I'm like, well, this is craziness. So you're very much like, you sort out edges so that you can have them later, or so that there's less information you have to deal with. and then you just find a thing and you're going for it.
Yep. Yeah. And sometimes, like, I don't always do them last necessarily. I'll either do them close to the end, or if I get to a point where I'm like, wait, I don't know what I need to do next, then I'll just start doing the edges. Like, it's my like backup, and I can start doing them while I'm looking at the other pieces to figure out like my next plan. And so that's kind of what I use it for.
Yeah, I believe Alejandro has said the same thing, is that he sort of sorts out the edges, he goes and does other things, and if he needs a breather, then the edges are there to do that.
And not every puzzle, the edges are easy.
No, for sure.
Like, there are some puzzles where, like, the edge all looks the same all the way around, and, like, it's easier to put it in after when you can see the little bits of color that are sticking out on, like, the prongs of it or whatever, and then match it up.
Yeah. Is there something that you consistently gravitate towards, like color or pattern or something, where you're like, definitely I'm doing this?
I would say if it's larger chunks of color, pink or yellow, usually I'll grab first. Maybe like a light blue, depending on how much of the puzzle it is. And then patterns, I would say checker pattern for sure I'll grab out, or polka dot, but otherwise it's all kind of, it just depends on the puzzle.
Right.
Red is the hardest for me. I'll see pink, but variations in red are I don't know why, like it's my vision, but it's way harder for me to tell like a red gradient apart from each other.
So like a green or blue is easier for you in that scene?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. I have the reverse. I'm much more red pink focused. Like I can do that better than I can a green blue sort of thing.
It's interesting how eyes work like that and brains work like that.
It's crazy that people are individuals.
Yeah.
So you did that puzzle. Sounds like it was your jam. You finished second in the Americans and then 12th overall on that one, which is a step up from where you were in a next harder round. So that feels like that would have been encouraging.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely felt good about that and felt good about going into the finals. And I think part of our joke at Worlds, or not our joke, but our goal at Worlds is we were always trying to beat our seed. So like you would be put at like, table or like seed number 49 or something based on where you place from prelims when they combined. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, my goal was always just to beat the number of the seed I was sitting in, because I was like, okay, that seems like an attainable goal, where first place never felt like an attainable goal at Worlds.
Yeah, which is, first of all, I love that a lot. But second of all, if you can do that, you're doing it in increasingly harder competitions, right? So the ability to do that is like, if you can beat your seed in a semifinal or a final round, you've injected, twice as many people who are at least that skilled into that area.
Right.
And so it's much harder to move, my opinion, to move up a level. So it gives you a goal that is attainable, but also challenging. Like it's not trivial. So then Tiger Puzzle, individual finals.
Oh, yeah.
So not your jam is what I'm hearing.
Fur?
Well, but I mean, illustration? Busy?
It was fur. All of that is...
It is a lot of fur.
It was so much fur. Luckily, though, I think I noticed what helped me was I noticed the resolution on the furs kind of differed. So some were like more crisp lines and some were like more blurry lines. And so I think that was how I was able to kind of differentiate it. And I got 21st overall. I think it was, because that was the finals, right?
22nd.
22nd.
At least according to the list.
Somebody bumped me down. I don't know. I always tell
people, sorry to break it to you.
Now I'm going to go cry about it later. No. If people ask me how I did, I tend to say top 20, even though it's not. But I'm like, it's close enough.
20-ish?
Yeah, it's 20-ish. It's fine.
Yeah. So that was not your jam.
No.
You ended up 20, we'll call it first.
Sure.
And the fourth American in that round. But it sounds like, given what you were delivered, not necessarily disappointing, or did you have a lot of...
No, I was very happy with that. And it was also just like, when you're at Worlds, you are really just cheering on like the other Americans too. So like when we finish, like a bunch of us like run up to each other, we're giving each other hugs, we're like, oh my God, congratulations. And like, we were all so happy for each other there, like, because you're in a different country, you're all like hanging out for a week at a time, so like you end up just cheering everybody on that you're there with, like, because it's hard not to. I mean, not that like we wish bad on any of the other countries, but like we're like, let's represent us, like let's cheer on the people that we're friends with, that we know.
Absolutely.
There you go.
you guys came in 15th on the 1,000 piece
Mhm.
Valladolid puzzle. You were the fifth
Oh,
American
yeah.
team. I think that is a great puzzle. It seemed like that would also be up your alley. It's fairly flat illustration with a
Mhm.
lot of things going on. Does that seem correct?
Yeah, yeah, we had a lot of fun with that puzzle. And I think that for Sarah and I's pairs is always, like, the thing is while we might not win each one, both of us are having, like, just a hilarious time puzzling together. We're giving each other trash, like, we're just laughing with each other the whole time.
Wasn't there a time where you guys were mic'd up and that the
Oh,
audio for
yeah.
that was never surfaced?
Sarah still has it, I think.
Does
Yeah. Yeah, she said she was gonna have to edit out the cussing, though, because we do a lot on that.
I mean, it started when you were 5.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's just cussing and puzzles, they go hand
Yeah.
in hand, apparently.
Puzzle cussing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to whether you have a perspective on whether pairs finals should be a 1,000 piece or a 500 pieces.
I think I'm fine with either as long as you don't have to share a table for the 1,000. When we had to share a table at nationals for the 1,000 piece, because Sarah and I don't use trays often at all,
Mhm.
and we had to for that one because there was no space on the table for, like, a lot of pieces to be without them all stacked on top of each other. And so that was hard for us because we never practice with trays because we just don't use them. To have to do that in the finals was tricky for us. But I don't know. Like I think at the large level, like at the national level or the world's level, having 1,000 piece for pairs is fine. Like because you are doing the best of the best. But if you're doing like smaller competitions, I would never have 1,000 piece for pairs. It would just take way too long.
Right. Do you experience a 1,000 piece puzzle different than you experience a two 500s back to back? Like, is that a meaningfully different approach for you?
Yeah, I would say it just the amount of time it takes to flip all the pieces in 1,000, with 2 people, with 1 person, like, the whole time I'm flipping, I just wanna put pieces together, just let me put pieces together, and so that's why it's nice for my team that I'm the borders, because I'm always the first person to get cut from flipping pieces to start the borders, and so I'm like, "Perfect." I flip pieces for, like, 2 minutes, and I'm like, "Alright, borders, here I come."
See ya, suckers.
Yeah, I hate flipping pieces.
Flipping Piece is the name of my regular team.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't hate you guys,
I
but
was I
I
was
just
taking
hate
it a
the
little
act of
personally.
flipping pieces.
I'm gonna cut just that piece of audio out and
Oh, I
say,
hate flipping pieces.
"See,
That
Lauren hates us."
great. I thought you were gonna make me look good, and now you're cutting it so I look bad.
Exactly. I've drawn you in and then I switched things up.
Yeah,
So you guys
classic.
you guys didn't go back to Worlds in 2025. Any
Mhm.
particular reason? Like, I can imagine a lot of reasons, but
One is that it's in the same place still, and it's not cheap to go to Spain, and I fly, my husband comes with, and our 2 roommates come with us there too, and so for all 4 of us to go places, it's very expensive. Um,
you
but
travel with an entourage?
yes, always.
Does your husband hold like some sort of like music player over his head and
Mhm,
other
mhm,
people are like trying to get the crowd to stand up?
that always, at the mall one, because a ton of our friends live in Minneapolis, so, like, we'll have, like, 10, 15 people up on, like, the mall balcony, and they'll be like, "Oh, there's the Betches entourage," like, they're watching.
So you couldn't go, or what a factor for you in the 2025 Worlds is the
Yeah.
fact that you would have to charter your own personal plane
Yeah,
to bring
basically.
everybody that you would want
Yeah.
to bring over there, and that was on a teacher's budget, just barely out of reach.
Just barely,
Yeah.
yeah. But, yeah, price, I mean, spending it to go to the exact same place is I don't know, I if it moved, like, if we went to Germany or France or somewhere else, I think I would be more willing to go just to see, like, a different country, because I mean,
Mhm.
that's part of it, is, like, you get to see Spain and you get to, go do that. But also, it's always the 3rd week of September, and for me to take off teaching
Yeah.
for that is damn near impossible. Like,
Yeah.
it just yeah. I lucked out and had an amazing student teacher the year that we went, and so she was, like, 40 and getting her teaching license, and so she was able to just like, do the whole class for me when I was gone. Like, there was a licensed sub in there, but she taught the whole thing because she was already very capable, so I felt completely fine leaving them. But leaving them for a week, the 3rd week of school, like, when you're just building that community feels so hard.
Is
Yeah.
there anything that carries over from your professional life into your puzzling life? Like you're used to dealing with a lot of unruly people. Uh, I wonder if that plays into your team dynamic at all.
I mean, probably. I help Sarah stay calm, just like I help the kids stay calm.
What techniques do you use?
Um, he says, "Deep breath, Sarah." No, I'm just kidding. Um, but like we just bring out like we joke a lot, which is kind of how I work with the kids too. Like when a kid is hurt or something like that, like especially if it's minimal, I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, do I need to call the ambulance?" Like I'll get it and just so dramatic. And like I'll do that on the team too, where they're like, "Oh, this is hard." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, we should just throw it out. We should just quit right now." And they're like, "Lauren," I'm like, "Okay, come on, let's put it together." Like
So no Worlds that year. Did you have much FOMO when Worlds was going on, having been there before, or
um
did you have the opposite?
It was kind of the opposite. I watched the streams and, like, was rooting, but a lot of the community that I have found and become friends with in the puzzle community didn't go. Like, none
Mhm.
of the people from Minnesota that I see all the time and puzzle with all the time went. And, like, so it didn't if, like, everyone had gone, but not me, like, if Dawn and Andrea and Sarah had gone and just I didn't go, then I think the FOMO would have been there, but because all of us weren't going, I think I was just content to say I did it once, and if the opportunity arises and it makes sense, then maybe I'll do it again, but I'm just happy I got the experience one time.
So in 2025, you did go to Carnival. It's real easy for you to go there,
Yep.
in so much as it's in your hometown. This was the first year I think they had individuals,
Yes.
and you did well.
Yeah, I won
You
individuals.
crushed it.
Yep.
You picked a Reuter and you crushed Jean in that particular case.
She was debating about puzzling, because she had just flown in, like, last minute for it, and I said, "You should do individuals and just come be at the table with me." And she's like, "Okay," because
That's great.
so often Sarah and I have tried to be at the table with them for pairs because we make them faster and they make us faster because like you can hear the clicking of the pieces and you're like, okay, I just got to beat the Reuters. Like they're right there. She's right there. And so we all just, it kind of like helps us motivate us to even go faster.
So having somebody fast next to you is an incentive, not an intimidation.
Correct. For me, it is. Because it also lets me compare like kind of where I'm at with where they're at. It's nice for me to be able to look, kind of glance and say, okay, I am either way behind, way ahead, or like, yeah, this seems about comparable. So I feel pretty good about it. Either way, it's just nice to kind of have that check in.
US Nationals,
Yep.
the
In DC.
2025 US Nationals in DC, you did well in your individual heat.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a bunch of photos of flowers, which isn't obviously a flat illustration
Yeah.
thing, but you did really well in that. What spoke to you about that particular puzzle?
I had actually been practicing flowers for like the 3 months ahead of that
Wow,
because I
this is
knew
the right competition for practicing flowers because there were so many flower puzzles.
And I knew like flowers and grass are kind of my weak link. And so I was like specifically grabbing 500 Ravensburgers with both of those and just practicing them over and over again to try to look for like just get used to seeing the patterns in that type of illustration or picture.
And do you feel like it made a lot of improvement in your ability to do that? Like did this puzzle, for example, again, a bunch of flowers, did you look at that and go immediately plug into it and be like, okay,
Yeah.
all these skills that I've been working on, I see them playing out right here.
Yeah. I think it definitely had a factor. And then this one was the red, white, and blue flowers, right?
Yeah, it's two stripes of red, two stripes of white, two stripes of blue. Yeah.
And I think whatever order I did it in was like the opposite to almost everybody else. I don't remember exactly the order, but I remember whatever I started with was what everybody else did last, which is, I guess, normal for me at this point. That's where
I mean, you chart your own course,
yeah.
and that's
Nobody
great.
tells me how to puzzle.
It's working out really well for you. I know that it's not like you're like, oh man, I finished last. I did something entirely different. You're like, I'm setting the trend.
Yeah. My brain is just different. I don't know.
In a glorious way, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of one of the things that I think is amusing is that you almost never, I'm not sure if I've ever seen you sit down and puzzle.
Oh
And
no.
and there's a reason why I ran across an interview with you about why you don't sit down. Tell us why you don't sit down when you puzzle competitively.
It just tells me I'm here to relax. I'm not here to relax. I'm here to win. Like I don't know, cuz I get too antsy. Like cuz my legs will start being jittery or anything if I'm sitting down, and I can't. Like I feel like I need to be up. I feel it's all the adrenaline. Like I just can't sit down. And even though my back hates me because of it.
I was going to say, if that is how you normally puzzle for competition, maybe you've been working those muscles.
Oh yeah, my husband's got me deadlifting.
Yes, he does.
Practice it. Yep.
Because one of the fun things about watching the video for last year's individuals final is that there's a shot of you standing over the puzzle area and everybody else is sitting down.
Yeah, and if you watch, you'll always see me. I always like stand up and crack my back. That's usually when I'm like either it hurts a lot or I'm like debating what I'm going to do next. So it's like a nervous tick that I'll like stand up, like crack my back, and then like keep puzzling.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
sort of is it like a mental break or it's just a?
Yeah, just kind of like a little like 1 second, like, okay, all right, we're still going, we're doing it, we're okay.
I have to imagine, maybe poorly, that even those seconds that you use doing something else may seem like wasted time. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, anytime I'm like, if I have a piece in my hand for like over 10 seconds, I'm like, you're wasting it, you're losing, you're gonna lose because you can't put this piece in. So it definitely feels that way sometimes, especially when competitions are as close as like 8 seconds, or when they get down, like some of these competitions we've done, like it has been splitting hairs for who finishes.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, great. If I just didn't crack my back twice, maybe I would have won it this time. And I'm like, but I can't get in that headspace, or I'm gonna be like that the whole time when I puzzle.
It's true. And some of those things are necessary for you to do as well as you do, right? Like
Right.
You can't, there's every chance that if you did nothing, if you didn't pause, crack your back, whatever, that you may have actually gotten more
Sure. Yeah.
in the weeds, or like you just need that mental break or that physical release or whatever that is. So
Yep.
it is interesting when you're just trying to shave off seconds between somebody else, like all the things that come into mind, and that you may have to, you have to make the balance between those things that are actually moving you forward and those things that might be moving you back.
And I think some of that plays into why I like larger piece counts more, because I feel like if you do a 300, how many pieces end up flipped up when you open the bag and you just dump it way more affects your time than like say in 1,000 piece. Because in 1,000 piece, you're over so much of a length of time that like it kind of negates any of those like random variables. But when like in the 300s, when you're trying to get under 20 minutes, if 10 more pieces had just landed face up out of your bag, like that could make or break you first through third,
Yeah.
Like it just really depends.
Yeah. So in a way, the larger piece counts. They're a better level playing field for.
Yeah. As long as you're okay with the stamina part. If you're like a sprinter, you're going to want the 300 if you can't like do it for that long. And I totally, marathoners and sprinters are not the same people.
Right. And so you like the larger piece counts up to a point, or just
for competition? Yeah. I mean, I've done the 40,000 whatever Disney puzzle before. So like I like the big ones for like personal use too, but not for competition.
Where do you put a puzzle that big when you're trying to get a final assembly on it?
So bad news about that one. I had it under the couch where I was like stacking it. It was all like what do you call contact paper all over it so that it would stick together. And a drink got spilled and it all went under the couch and all of those frames got ruined.
Oh no.
So I never put it together.
Oh, that seems dissatisfying.
It was very dissatisfying. It went all right in the trash and I was just vowed never to think about it again.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like it was a rage quit at that point.
It was. I was like, because I didn't even know that the drink had spilled or anything. And so I go to pull them all out for the last assembly. And like, there's just like some of the pieces are like just completely, wet and frayed and like nothing is going together. And I was like, okay, we're done.
Wow. Do you know who was responsible for the drink spillage?
No, we have like friends visiting all the time and it was under our couch that we sit on. So like it could have been anybody.
All right. It just
They
did
better
like
hope I never find out. Is all I'm
exactly.
gonna say.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like somebody's in trouble.
Yeah. My husband will never admit to it if it was him. So.
No, rightfully so. I think he's making the right choice. Are you ever going to try and tackle that again? Or is that like a
I'm not ruling it out. Like, I'd be willing to. I also, now that like I'm in the puzzle community, it would be nice to like do it with other people, or like make it like a big event where like, all of us get together, maybe somewhere, rent out like a ballroom, and then each of us take like a section and then we put it all together at the end of the night or whatever it is. Would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, we're almost caught up. So just this last weekend,
Yes.
Winter Carnival. So how was Winter Carnival? So you were the first solo winner last year.
Mm-hmm.
Any pressure to retain your title?
Oh yeah. So many people were walking up to me like, Lauren, I hope you win. I hope you win. And I was like, okay, great. It's like, so do I. But like,
I saw you a couple of times and I was like, specifically didn't want to say anything about that because I know that can be a lot of pressure when people are like, oh, good. You
good
can
luck.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like, because I work for Sarah and host in the cities, tons of people at Winter Carnival know me or know of me, or they've been at competitions of Sarah's. And so like, normally for about a half hour before the competition, I just want my headphones in and I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I just need to kind of like zone in. And that was just impossible at Winter Carnival. Like, so many people just come up and like, it's fine. And I'm always like, you can approach me, it's fine. But like, it definitely kind of, I was like, okay, I just want to stand here with my headphones and not talk to anybody for a little bit. Oh.
What are you doing when you are that like time in advance where you're listening to music? Are you just sort of settling? Are you thinking through things? Like what do you need that time for?
Mostly it's just settling my nerves. So normally like, and I don't know if you've heard, but I listen to dubstep the whole time while I puzzle.
I have heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's usually like blaring in my ears. And I'm like trying to get my nervous energy out just by kind of like moving around and like kind of like dancing, but not really dancing to the music. And then like, I'm usually doing something on my phone, some sort of puzzle, something just to kind of get my brain like ready to like be thinking about it. So whether it's like just a virtual jigsaw or like anything like that, just to kind of get into it. But yeah, otherwise I just need that time to stop, to get out of my own head, to not put all the pressure on myself.
And is it fairly successful?
I mean, it has been usually. Like, I mean, I'm 3-time state champion, all these like, so it works when it works.
Is some part of it the routine? Like some part of it,
yes.
the like, okay, this is where we get into things.
It's like sports athletes. They have like lucky socks, or they have like their own rituals beforehand that they have to go through. At this point, yes, it's become this ritual that I feel like I need because it's worked. I've gotten first place, a decent amount of time. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. This is what I need now.
Right. And I can imagine that there's something calming about doing the same routine over again.
Yeah.
Like this is how this goes. I'm familiar with this. That like there's comfort in that. Do you have lucky socks?
I don't know if they're lucky socks, but I have compression puzzle socks that I wear mostly so that like I'm still getting blood flow to my feet with like standing up that whole time, and it like, yeah, so I just put the compression socks on.
But nothing that you don't have a particular like some people have their little token animals and other people have like, earrings they wear. You don't have anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah. You're just ready. You're ready to go in regardless of what comes at you. How did Winter Carnival go for you on the solo front?
I got 7th. So not where I wanted to be really overall. Was super happy for Mari though. I think this was her first win for first place. And so like I yelled even when I was still puzzling, like, yay, Mari. And so that was really exciting. But I opened the puzzle and it was birds. And I thought in my head, if the Reuters don't pull this off being the bird people that they are, I'm going to be mad at them for themselves. Like, I was like, I should not be either of them because it was woodpeckers, redbirds, bluebirds, and then it was all the same bird to me. So I was like, okay.
I was not able to attend the whole thing because I had to go catch my flight, but I was there for the first, 5 or 10 minutes. And I did hear both the Reuters, I think simultaneously yell birds,
Yeah.
when they opened the package. So it
Yeah.
was like, oh, yep, it's very clearly their jam.
Yeah. Sarah had gotten them like a birding book and things like that. So we knew ahead of time that like they were very into birds. So I was like, okay, this is right up their alley. But on top of it, just kind of I think being more their speed, everything going on in the cities right now really had affected my mental state kind of for the whole competition.
So talk a little bit more about that. I can't imagine there aren't folks who don't know, but also who knows when people will listen to this. So give us
Right.
just a quick hit background on what was going on.
So ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement, or whatever it stands for, is conducting raids in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul and the surrounding areas. So there has been 2 deaths in the cities by the hand of ICE agents that are protesters or, you know, citizens or whatever you want to say about the whole thing. But it affects me daily because I mean, with the kids that I teach and everything like that, half of our school is online learning because they don't feel safe coming in. And
Really?
so it was hard to go into the weekend and be like, yay, my friends, when you feel like your community is crumbling. And then Saturday we got the news. Well, because Friday going in there had only been 1 death. And then Saturday we got the news that there was a second death. And it it kind of wrecked me completely like that. I just was like, what are we doing? Like, why can't we feel safe where we're at? And why is this happening here? Kind of thing. And I don't know. It really, I had been in my head weeks before this about all of this stuff every
Sure.
day. It just really affects you mentally. And going into that, I knew like a couple people had come up to me right before individuals was like, yeah, Lauren, how are you handling everything with the kids? And like, then I start like getting teary and I'm like, okay. And like, I couldn't get in that like competitive mental state beforehand. It just wasn't there.
I was talking to a team that had that same experience. They are local, and
Hmm.
they had heard about the second shooting right before they started competing, and they were like, "Yeah, it changes your perspective on what you're doing."
It does. It feels like, why does me putting together this piece of cardboard matter when people are out there dying? Like it, I don't know. It just felt, it was a weird juxtaposition of 2 events that were happening at the same time.
Yeah, it really was. I continue to struggle with that myself a little bit on how there's sort of these trivial things going on in the light of sort of these non-trivial things going
Right.
on. And I don't have a solid resolution for that, but some part of me is like, well, life has to go on.
Mhm.
And at that moment, there were lots of other people representing for what was going on.
Yep.
And so, some small amount of joy balancing some large amount of sadness doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and that's kinda 'cause I debated Saturday night. There was like the USA JPA social to go to, and I was really debating about going at all. And my husband had said, like, right now, the best thing you can do is bring joy to other people, like, and
Mm,
make them feel. He's like, just like you do with the kids at school, just like you help make other people feel like it's going to be okay. So like you just, and I was like, okay, I think I can do it. So then I went to the social, and it was fine. And like I hung out and had a good time with people, but it just like, cause sometimes you don't want to be social when you're kind of experiencing all this. Like you just want to go home and rot in your bed and be sad. He was right though. I think it was good for me and it was good to just be part of, have that community around me at the time.
so that was in play when you were doing the individuals
Oh
competition?
yeah, yeah, and we did the moment of silence before the pairs competition too. So just like kind of bringing it like all around. It was just a weight on the whole day that was just pressing down on everybody.
Yeah, I think it was Cynthia who runs that competition,
Hmm.
did a moment of silence, and then at the end of the moment of silence, I think her voice broke as
Yeah,
she
there
was.
was a ton of people crying, like the competitors just crying right before the competition started, which was really hard. But it was, I mean, that's real. All of us are feeling this pressure and this sadness about what's happening.
Yeah, I appreciated that she did that, and Tony, I forget his last name from Puzzle Twist,
Hmm.
picked up the mic to talk, and he was clearly broken up as well. So it was like
Hmm.
it felt like I understand how it impacts elite level puzzlers, but I think we all agree like that felt like a at least a reasonable honoring of the moment.
Yes, absolutely. I thought it was.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to veer back into less heavy time.
Sounds good.
So you said that during that competition, folks, or before the individuals, folks were coming up to you and, you know, wishing you luck and whatnot. You were sitting, if I remember correctly, right at the side, right next to where spectators were.
Yeah.
Did you choose that area on purpose? Like you could have been more buried in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I just kinda got in line. I got in line by Dawn, and I was because I knew Dawn knew not to, like, we can exchange a couple words, but both of us kinda had headphones on, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, like, this is fine. I'll just stand next to Dawn," and then, like, people just walk up, they keep tap you on the shoulder, they're like I'm like, "Okay, okay, yep, yeah." But, I mean, like I said, I don't want anyone to feel like they can't approach me during, like, when they see me or if they know me or anything like that. Like, it's totally fine. I just maybe if it's right before the individual, it might not be the best time. Ugh.
The thing that I'm really curious about is that in a previous episode, I talked with a couple of folks and we were talking about making the elite competitors more visible to the spectators.
Mhm.
And in this case, you were like right there. And so I'm curious as to your perspective about
Oh, you mean
being,
where I was competing?
uh-huh.
Not to oh, yeah. So, I picked there because my husband was like, "I need to see how you're doing. You need to be right here so I can see you." I was like, "Okay." So then we were and he said, he was like, "I think it's good for, like, the elite puzzlers. It's more fun for the spectators to see how the fast people are going and to, like, have someone to root for that doesn't feel like they're miles away from the victory team."
But other folks have, let me phrase this differently. I think Val Coit had said something about being concerned that the elite puzzlers are going to have, you know, people, spectators who are like fanning over them come up and sort of distract or otherwise interfere. So it feels like you don't have that experience.
No, not during the competition at all. My headphones, like, cancel out the noise anyway, so I couldn't sometimes I can hear specific people, but, like, usually my headphones are blaring, so it's fine. I think as long I mean, they had the barriers that, like, block the spectators from getting close to you, and that
Yeah.
I think was plenty. Like, the noise itself doesn't bother me. It would just be like if someone was trying to talk to me.
People leaning over and going, Lauren, you forgot a piece over there.
Oh my so at the end of in oh, yeah, you weren't there. At the end of individuals, I was missing 2 pieces, and I didn't even know I was missing them because like, I just didn't see it, and so the spectators are yelling, like, "It's underneath, like, where the box was sitting," and I'm like, "What? What?" Because like, I can't hear anything, I, like, take my earbud out, and they're like, "It's under the box!" I was like, "Oh my god, okay, here it is." I was like, "Oh my god." So maybe in that moment, it might have been helpful to,
Yeah.
yeah, be able to hear them, but
That's right. I can imagine you like in future versions of this where
yeah.
you know you've got a piece or two missing, you just whip your headphones off and
Yeah.
yell, "Where is it?"
Where is it, everybody?
Then everyone can just point at it.
Yep. But I think it is good for the elite puzzlers to be visible to the spectators. I think I mean, you wouldn't go to a football game and not be able to see the people that are winning, you know what I mean? Like, it just that type of thing. Otherwise, I think it loses its enjoyment of watching it.
Well, as a enthusiastic spectator, I really do enjoy being able to see up close what people are doing. Now, I know that especially in bigger competitions, that's not always possible because like there might be rows of people who also
Right.
want to see the same thing, and that's fine. But I did appreciate like I tried to maintain a respectful distance, but I walked as close as I felt like I wouldn't
Yeah.
be like hovering over you to watch how you were doing.
Yeah.
Um, and it was great. I loved it. I did see that at the very beginning your hands were shaking.
Oh, yeah. That's classic every individual, every time.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's part of the process. That's
Yep.
you're working through
Yeah.
some stuff. Does that wear itself out over the course of the puzzle?
Usually about middle of the puzzle, I am done shaking, and then the last, like, 20 pieces, I'm shaking again. Just because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god, it's ending, I gotta go fast, I gotta go fast."
Right, right.
Yeah.
So what do you have on the calendar coming up this year?
Nationals, of course, is coming up in Atlanta that I'll be going to. Fun news for that is I am pairing with Kathy Reuter, and Sarah is pairing with Jean.
That is
So
amazing.
we split up for this one. It's been something we've talked about with the Reuters for a long time. We just love them so much. And so um yeah, I'm very excited for this one. And Jean and Sarah apparently have practice, and Kathy and I's joke is like, well, we don't really need to practice together. We'll still win. So we'll see what happens. But I think this might, for at least the foreseeable future, this will probably be the last time that people see the Betches as a complete four.
Oh,
Um, Andrea, I believe, is planning on expanding her family more from just baby Autumn.
it didn't
And
slow
so,
her down a lot last time.
no, I know, but I think she wants to take a step back and be more like
Sure.
full-time mom. She said Winter Carnival and maybe the mall, she is still like down to be part of it. But I mean, she didn't do individuals this time either at Winter Carnival. But she said like she's kind of gonna take a step back from nationals and things like that. So it's our last chance for now to kind of win it or do good. No pressure again.
No, no pressure except all of the pressure.
Except all of it.
So U.S. Nationals, that's in end of March, if I recall correctly.
Yep. It's nicely lined up with my spring breaks, like the
Oh,
last
nice.
3 years. I don't know how I lucked out with that, but I'll take it.
Any other major events on your calendar for this year?
Well, it'll be the Autism Society one at the mall, and then state. Is it in October this year? I haven't signed up for it yet, but I'll do state too. But outside of that, not a ton of big competitions. I'm not planning on doing Worlds this year or anything like that.
So if Worlds had moved around, would you have considered it this year, or is it?
Yeah, I would have considered it, especially if the dates had changed. I would even consider
Right.
going back to Valladolid. But up until one of those two things kind of changes, unless I'm on a team that really thinks we're gonna do better than the fourth place we got ourselves, like as the Betches, I think I'm gonna probably not do it until that happens.
Would you consider at all the World Series, that the new event that is in Germany this year?
Tell me more about this event. No.
So this is it's an individuals only event. So I'm not sure how much
Okay.
that speaks to you, but it is a series of I want to say 6, but I might be wrong. Competitions where you gain points based on how you do, rather than a winner takes all.
Mm-hmm.
They're different kinds of individual competitions with different focuses to try and sort of explore the entire space of what it takes to be a great puzzler.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is being put on by Melissa Townsend from the Aussie All Stars, putting it on in Germany over the course of, I think, a weekend in Munich,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, but it's a really interesting format. But it's speaks to a lot of the same audience. It's got obviously a different structure, but is a
Yeah.
different location. So I was just curious whether something like that was something that would hit your interest level or not.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna look it up after we chat and see like the dates and everything like that. But definitely would be interested in it for sure.
Yeah, I think it's in May.
Okay.
So I don't know how that aligns with your schedule, but
Yeah. And even if it's not this year, it might be the following year if she runs it again. So
if there was no constraints on time and money, is there an event you would love to go to that you haven't?
I would love to go to the Australia like World Championship and just like even just see it, even just be there, visit, see the area, see the competitors. Like, because I love they come into Worlds with like all their matching jerseys and all this. Like, it was so cool. And I know Sarah has gone there and visited, and I definitely am interested in going there at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. And everybody I talk to, that's their, like, if they could, that's the
Yeah,
event that they would go to, which I think speaks hugely to the community and how they represent, as you were saying. Yeah.
yeah. No, they just seem like a bunch of really fun people, and like they're very good, and I would love to go see it.
We are starting to run out of time, which I am
Okay.
not surprised at all about. But I did want to talk specifically about something that you have going on at your school.
Hmm.
So you have, as near as I can tell, you're building the next level, the next wave of competitors. So tell me a little bit about what you have going on.
So I run a speed puzzling club at school. It's 2 days a week after school, and we do anywhere from kindergarten through 5th grade can participate in it. And so how I run it is we usually start it with like a game like through YouTube where it's like zoomed in image, and then they kind of got to guess what the zoomed in part is,
Oh,
because it like helps you with puzzle pieces, because like you're looking at one really specific chunk of an image on the puzzle piece. Or I do like a spot the difference between two pictures, because then it's just getting the kids to get used to like looking at the details.
I could use this training.
It's fun and they love it. They think it's so fun. And then everyone gets, I always start with, I have like 35 piece like little wooden puzzles, and that's kind of what everybody starts with and starts getting a time with. And I track their times all in a spreadsheet, and their goal always is just to beat their previous time.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I've had kids like 35-piece puzzle they started, it takes 18 minutes, and they're down to like 3 or 4 minutes by the end of like puzzle club's session. And
Wow.
so like over the course of a couple months.
Sure.
And I've taken them to one competition and we got third place. So it was me and 3 kids. And so that was it was like a family level competition.
Right.
But they were against like teenagers and stuff like that with their families. And so they were so excited. It was like 2 7-year-olds and an 8-year-old.
Oh,
So
wow.
young. Yeah. And now, I mean, the kids that have been in Puzzle Club it's now the 3rd year that we're running this. Yeah. And I have a lot of the kids that have been in there all 3 years that are like racing 100 pieces now, or they complete 300 pieces on their own by themselves. And it's just like, it's so fun to watch their growth as puzzlers. And it's also like a very accessible after school club, like for people with like varying abilities or varying, like, because we have a lot of English language learners at our school. So you don't need to know English well to do your puzzle. So like a lot of times I just have like a lot of our EL students and stuff like that in there. And it's just, we listen to music and they kind of do puzzles for 2 hours and they get to choose the music and they love it.
Yeah. And I can imagine that it is, to your point, it's easier to enter than like even like a chess club, right?
Right.
Where
Right.
you're not having to learn a bunch of rules, really think strategically. Like if it goes together, it goes together.
Yeah. And usually like if I'm starting, the year with a bunch of new to Puzzle Club kids, like I'll show them one. We'll talk about like, okay, let's flip over the pieces. We talk about these are edges. This is what they're called. And then we kind of build from there.
So I feel like you need to bring Connor Delot to a show and tell, right? Like you need to
Yeah.
parade him around and be like, listen,
This is what you could be. Yeah.
That's right. You were 7, but in 4 short years, you could like where he was last year is still incredible. So are you mining for talent here? Or are you like, okay, well, this person, like this is next year?
Yeah, I've got a couple kids who I want to continue taking to competitions and who's been in it for like the 3 years. And I'm like, okay, once you're at, like this age, and their parents like have my number because I'm like, okay, once they leave elementary school, like they can't come to Puzzle Club, but we could still do competitions together if they still want to, and like try to keep them in that scene and everything like that.
Any thoughts on expanding that program out to elsewhere in maybe the same district and having, I don't know if it's the appropriate, but competitions?
Definitely, if I had teachers interested in hosting it at like their schools, for sure. I know Josh
Trager,
he reached out to me, I think like 2 years ago, because he was going to host it at his kids' school. And so he kind of asked me like, what do I kind of use as like a curriculum or like lesson plan for the time? And so we chatted back and forth a lot. And even I'm trying to think. I think it's Darn from
yeah,
she
from
reached
Australia.
out. She reached out to me from Australia and said like, how are you running a puzzle club in schools? Because she was going to open it up in Australia too.
Yeah.
So definitely like would be interested in expanding it at least in the cities too and making competitions.
I feel like Jonathan Clough had an initiative a couple of years back, which I didn't know.
That's how I started this. Yeah. So I signed up to run it through him. And so then he shipped like a bunch of the puzzles to me and a bunch of timers and things like that. I think the harder part with that one is that it's a lot of like 500, 1,000 piece puzzles.
Oh, sure.
Which makes a lot of sense if you're doing like middle school or high school, but for elementary, they're just not always ready for that yet. So I actually did a puzzle drive with Sarah Does Puzzles for my birthday last year. And I had a ton of people donate like gently used 100-piece to 300-piece puzzles. So now I have like 6 boxes full. And I just, as they lose, because kids lose pieces or things happen, as they are down like 4 or 5 pieces of the puzzle, I move those ones out and like bring new ones. But a lot of them are like Minecraft or Frozen or things that the kids really like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so motivating for them to like do puzzles of images that they are invested in too. And we just had at school, well, because yesterday, was it the 29th was National Puzzle Day.
Yes.
And so my math lesson for class was puzzles. So every table got a 100-piece puzzle and they all raced each other. They had and I could tell the kids that are in my class that are in puzzle club, because like one of the girls who's very quiet, but she's like, okay, everybody, like we got to flip the pieces. I'll take the edges. Like she's like a leader in her group, and she like barely raises her hands in class. And I'm like, this is her thing. Like, and she won, of course, because she was like orchestrating the whole thing. I was like, oh, and some kids are like, wow, I didn't know I could do puzzles so fast. And I have them in my class the whole time too. I've had kids last year that said like, oh, I'm getting frustrated. Can I go do a puzzle in the break spot? Yeah, if you need a break with a puzzle, dude, go ahead. Like, I'm all for that.
That's super cool. I love the training, the exposure, the trying, like the ability to try new things, because it is definitely it is a different kind of person who historically last few years excels in puzzles and competitive puzzling than excels in a lot of other competitive arenas. And so it's nice to have an outlet where somebody can try a different strength in the same sort of in a competitive format and see if that works for them.
Right, exactly.
And I bet that for a number of them, it's probably esteem building along the way. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, and so many, like, they love if I like take pictures of them with their puzzle, and then I'll send them to my principal and she'll put them up on like the screens around the school so they can see themselves with their puzzle, and like they get so excited. They're like, take one of me, we did it. I'm like, okay.
Now, are they mostly doing pairs and teams, or are they doing individuals, or?
So they're doing it. So their timed one that they're doing every class is individual, and then the rest of class we kind of do I say it's choose your own adventure. So you can work on a bigger puzzle with a team. You can keep practicing smaller puzzles yourself. But I usually kind of let them know like, hey, there's 45 minutes left. Maybe don't start a 500-piece puzzle right now because you're not gonna have time. That type of thing. But yeah, I have some that really like doing teams and some that really just want to sit there and individually puzzle the whole time, which is great. And they can do that.
All right, Lauren, I think we're ready for the speed round.
I'm ready.
All right. Gradients, patterns, or fur?
Patterns.
Illustration or photo?
Illustration, by far.
Some of these are good. We've talked about.
Yeah.
You've expressed reserved opinions on some of these.
Reserved was generous.
No, it wasn't generous. It was gently mocking.
Okay, thank you.
Busy or landscape?
Busy.
Round or square?
Oh, I like round.
What did you think of the literal square puzzle that was released at Carnival?
Okay, funny story about that. So the first one that was the square, we did it. We finished it. We go over there to get the prizes. Writers are like, oh my God, did you guys, that was a funny square. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, the square. I was like, what square? And she's like, the puzzle was a square. I'm like, no, it wasn't. And she's like, yes, it was, Lauren. And I look and I was like, I did the edges and I had no clue it was a square. And it said square on the box. And I just.
You did the literal square part.
Yep. Not a clue.
So you're sort of indifferent to square versus rectangle.
Yeah, apparently. But then when individuals came in, it was another square. I was like, hey, it's a square. I see it this time.
Did you just stop and yell over at the writers?
Yeah, she was next to me. So I said, hey, it's a square. I can see it.
Wood or cardboard?
Wood.
Individuals, pairs, or teams?
Pairs.
Ribbon cut or random cut?
Random cut.
300, 500, or 1,000?
For speed or for casual?
Whichever you like.
For speed, I'd say 500.
Okay. Casual?
1,000 or more.
Or more.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of online competitions, virtual or in person?
In person. I always do better in person.
Do you have a current favorite brand?
As I'm looking at my puzzles to the side right now, Puzzle Twist is, I think, my favorite brand by far.
What about them is your favorite?
I mean, they're Minnesota based. They're like, I love Tony, but also they're just so different from a lot of the other puzzles, like with the twists, and they keep coming out with new twists, and it just makes it fun to like get each one and try to find the twist and then try to find Maynard in there at the end. And I don't know, it's
Tell
like a whole
people what Maynard is.
so Maynard is this little puzzle piece guy that is in every one of the puzzle twist puzzles, and he's normally very hard to find. He's usually super tiny, and he's in the image. At first, I thought he was a puzzle shaped piece, like a certain piece I was looking for.
Oh yeah.
But then somebody explained it to me that it was like on the image, so I figured that out. But I've never found him while puzzling. I've only found him after. But so many of like people I've puzzled with are like, oh, I found Maynard, like while we're puzzling. And I'm like, how do you notice it? I don't know. But I love the journey of that after, is like looking for him and giant, the whole team's bent over the puzzle trying to find where he's at.
Do you have a favorite puzzle?
Oh God, let me think. I'm literally just trying to stare at all my puzzles. Anything Disney is probably my favorite. I love Disney. I have a bunch of the Loungefly backpacks. I have a bunch of Disney Legos. So really, if I like the subject of the puzzle, I always do better at it. But it's either Disney or I do like food, even though a lot of people don't like puzzling food. I do like food.
I only don't like it because it makes me hungry.
That's fair.
Where can people follow you?
If you find me on Facebook, I'm under Lauren Lynn, not Lauren Kautz. But otherwise, I'm not really on anything.
I could recommend a YouTube channel.
Yeah, okay. Like a 5-year-old YouTube channel that I don't post to. A lot of people get a hold of me through Sarah. They reach out to Sarah and Sarah gives them my number and then they get a hold of me. I don't know. I am like, my Instagram is the same as my Facebook, but I am not like on like I don't have a puzzle specific anything. I don't know. Maybe I eventually need to develop one, but we'll see.
At this point, it's kind of cool not to.
Yeah, it's like it's being hip and whatever. But I am planning on joining the Minnesota USAJPA board with Stacy. So eventually I'll probably have something out there so people can reach me for that.
Awesome. Lauren Kautz, thank you so much for joining Peace Talks with me.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Thanks for listening to Peace Talks. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at peace_talks, and you can send email to peacetalkscast@gmail.com.